I think I even remembered to. I think I even remembered to update the information before I push the button. I should pull my mic closer so that it's actually like audible and yeah, yeah. LSR 4242. How does everyone in this room feel about Aubrey Plaza and or women in suits? Um, Aubrey Plaza wearing a suit could like literally just walk on me like in a complete just if she's just like I need to cross this pothole, curl up inside it so I can walk across it. I'd be like, okay, Aubrey Plaza, sure, I'll do that for you. Janelle Monáe, yeah, I would curl up in a pothole for Janelle Monáe, yeah. Oh,
Any
I need to
woman in
turn you up.
suits.
There we go. Sorry, I needed to turn you up. You were very quiet.
Oh, well, I'm
Nearly
here
inaudible.
now. So yeah,
You're here now.
any woman
Janelle
in
Monáe.
suits.
Yeah, so we're saying
Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza, Janelle Monáe, Evan Rachel Woods.
All of those people in suits just can have my entire body. Like they can just have it. Like it's your just do with it as you will.
Aubrey
Like
Plaza
just
comes up and says, "Hey, we're not a we do our blood type doesn't match, but I need your kidney."
yeah, here you go, Aubrey Plaza. Although I find her really, I feel like Janelle Monáe could ask for more, like hierarchically. I feel like Janelle Monáe could ask for more than some. Oh God, what's her name? Rose, the androgynous model chick. She was in Orange Is the New Black. Something Rose. Her in a suit, just brain dead. Like so beautiful
Cat B.
and
Fuller.
handsome
Cat
and
B. Fuller
sexy.
go throwback here. Shirley Shirley Manson from Garbage. Like
Oh
yes.
yes. Oh yes. Yes. Also that. Oh, even further throwback. Julie Andrews in Victor Victoria. Have my life, you beautiful songbird pixie haircutted bitch. Just have it. Like
Atropos
she's
plays.
wonderful.
Atropos plays. Gillian Anderson could literally murder me with a rusty toothpick, and I would thank her. Yeah,
Oh
absolutely. I'm
God,
there.
yes, Gillian
I'm there.
Anderson in her suits. Oh, please take it.
She
You know
she
what?
could she could
I
ask
also
permission to stab me first, and I'd just be like, okay.
Ruby Rose, Ruby Rose. Yes, and I'm also being told to use non-binary specifically. Um, so that's a good correction. Thank you. Ruby Rose is NB and so all of the goodness. Alternately, on the opposite end of the scale, Joseph Gordon-Levitt in lingerie. Take my body. Just take it. Again, just the opposite end of this discussion. Just have it all. Boys in kilts, like, woo, yes. Oh God, what's his face? Alan Cummings in Cabaret in his like lingerie get up also could have my body. Like, I'm here for it.
I'm just getting a couple things set up. I'm running just a little bit behind. I had a family matter related phone call just shortly before stream starts. It's like, hey, well, can we give you a call right now? And this was like a half hour ago, no, 40 minutes ago. And I'm like, yeah, sure, now it'd be fine. I've got 40 minutes before stream. And
You should have known it was a family phone call. They never left.
should have processed that a little bit. Yeah. But anyway, we should be good now. Let me see. Where is my? Oh. No, stop Stop like reconnecting the phone. So iTunes just refuses to stay away and just keeps popping back up, and every time I tell it to go away, it's just like, hey, you wanna download all your phone right now? I'm like, no, I really don't. That is very much not what I want to do. Where now I'm scrolling down my long list of scenes in OBS looking for no, not that one. SR times? No. Which one of these is the one? Oh, there we go. Amy Speedrun. It's the one literally labeled Amy Speedrun that is in fact the one set up for Amy speedrunning. Go figure.
Huh. What a crazy concept.
Crazy concept. Dan, did you send TJ the PO? No, I didn't. I'm just gonna tweet it out later.
No, don't tweet it.
At this point,
Just don't do it. Just DM. Slide into the DMs, Dan.
Yeah, but then I've got to like remember who to DM, and I might as well just do it once.
It's TJ. It's not that hard.
I know
just
it's not
DM
that hard.
Just DM it to me. Then you'll remember, and I'll pass it out.
The funny thing,
I will be the keeper of the PO box.
The funny thing is I was talking with Shannon Strucci and Mikey, movies with Mikey Face Mikey.
You were just casually having a chat with other famous people?
I was just having a casual chat with other internet famous people, and PO box, like the subject of PO boxes came up, and I'm like, oh, how do you get it out there? And they both said that it's like, well, I used to just like DM it individually, and then I got tired of that, so I just like tweeted it. And I'm like, oh, that's what I should do. If you tweet it, I'm gonna send you my copy of Aliens Colonial Marines when I'm done streaming it. Sure, why not? Let's just do it. Like, I mean, worst case scenario, somebody sends me an egg or like ham, you know?
Well, why would you manifest those into this reality?
Because that's
as
what
ideas.
Okay. The reason I'm manifesting those is because they already exist, because the entire, like, this aforementioned conversation was about the fact that Mikey was checking the PO box and got ham. Somebody sent them ham. They also got a bunch of like movies from India, DVDs from India of movies they had never heard of before, but they got ham as well. So
that's super weird.
I made a sandwich, but I didn't get a drink. So now I've eaten a sandwich and I need a drink. So I'm gonna start loading. I'm gonna load the save game, and then I'm gonna go get a drink. Okay. I do, yes.
Dan. You've been delivered above?
It will be soon.
Wow, that was really. You're so articulate. How did you even become famous on the internet?
I didn't. I lucked into it. It happened by accident. I'm a fraud.
It was an accidental luck.
It was an accident. It was accidental luck, and I'm a fraud. And this is the second. This is the second when literally everybody here realizes that and just has a wake up moment.
Send me candies.
They quit.
I'll take candy. I will go open a PO box for candy. I'm gonna go open a PO box like this week, and y'all can send me as much candy as you want.
Is a corn costume going to be a donation incentive at SGDQ? No. So I'm not doing any costume incentives, specifically because I've already been putting thought into.
Why, Dan? I want a corn kigurumi.
Now, if we can find, wow. Yeah. So we have until Sunday. What, if any, incentives are going to be submitted, need to be submitted by end of day Sunday at the latest. The 22nd is the deadline for incentives. I actually thought maybe I had missed it, that it was like Monday, but it's next Sunday. So I have been debating a few different incentives. So like the swag shot one is the main one. The chapter 3 old route. I guess part of my I don't want to say reluctance, hesitancy, self-doubt. There's the right phrase. Part of my self-doubt really just comes down to like, oh man, any incentive that I could dream up would be just like entirely obtuse to the actual GDQ viewing audience, and no one would like care, and we would never meet the incentive, and then it would be better if you just didn't have any at all.
I don't know about that.
My self-doubt is, in fact, the true antagonist of Amy.
Is it? Is it though? So Dan, so what are you gonna what were your ideas that you think are too obtuse?
So the chapter 3 swag shots, I think are a little obtuse. Like, I don't know if I guess I'm equally worried that you would have. So, okay. So my nightmare is that there was this one run back in January. There was this one run where the guy had a donation incentive for it was called the lobotomy chicken incentive. And they had set some, just like, I don't know who set the goal on it, but it was like absurd. It was like $25,000 or like $50,000 or something like that. And they didn't come anywhere close. And the guy was like so choked up about it that they didn't meet the incentive. And so he just kind of like sat there and did nothing and like quietly pouted while openly like saying like, well, maybe I should just do it anyway. And it was like tragic. And then his YouTube channel, like the video with where he does it, like got bombed with all of these comments from Redditors being like, this was the incentive, and I'm just like, I am like terrified of being that guy, of being like having a donation incentive and then having to sit there and then be like,
that no one will give you money for a thing.
I'm worried that it would be like, did we meet the donation incentive? And the announcer would just be like, no.
And then you're having the fear of like when they auction off the guys for like a date night or a dance for like the charity event, you're worried that like you're only gonna raise like $10.
That I will be Chris. What's the actor's name? Chris in Groundhog Day, when like that exact scenario, the Bachelor auction, and
Dan, I think you have a lot of nerdy fans who have a small enough but reasonable enough disposable income to excitedly give you money for your Bachelor auction. In fact, you should just do a Bachelor auction.
I should just do a Bachelor auction
like that. I will go on a Skype date with you.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! No! I don't think those. I'm pretty sure they would kibosh an incentive like that. So the thing is I don't think like the runners aren't actually the ones who set the incentive levels. So I don't know. Like, really, I should just submit the swag shot one. Like, it's an alternate route. It's slightly slower, but it's kind of fun and funny. Like, it is a little bit impressive. It is a little bit impressive, and it's challenging. And yeah, so for a lightweight incentive, sure, why not?
What?
The chapter 3, the doing the trick shots instead of the current route.
I got you. Should
make the donation incentive eating a raw ear of corn. Oh. Oh.
I mean,
All right.
I will happily eat so much corn on the cob on that couch. Like, I'll just, Dan, that's,
You know what?
so I will
all right,
race
we're
you.
gonna
I will see how many corn on the cobs I can eat before you finish this run.
All right, we can keep arguing about this while the timer's
I
running.
don't
All right.
believe you.
Okay, all right. 3.
I don't believe you.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Amy, released in 2012, developed by VectorCell, and published by Lexis Numerique. It was developed by one of my favorite game developers, Paul Cassette, who you may know as the legendary designer of the legendary SNES game, Sega Genesis game, Shaq Fu, Enforcer of Justice. Unfortunately, this game is not nearly as legendary as Shaq Fu, but it has its charms despite being largely incomplete and mostly incomprehensible. So, yeah, there's a opening cutscene which we have already skipped, where we would be introduced to our player protagonist Lana and her ward, the titular Amy. They ride a train, and then the apocalypse happens, and that's more or less all you need to know in order to get up to speed. Actually, I guess a little bit more. So Amy is a test subject at not the Institute. It is the center.
Isn't it?
It's the center.
Was I right?
And
Excited.
the center. Yeah, the center. And so.
One of the ominous names.
An ominous institution. Lana is a worker there, and she has kidnapped Amy and is rescuing her. And then Amy draws a picture of the apocalypse, and then the apocalypse happens a couple seconds later, and then the train crashes, and Lana wakes up.
Really good job, Amy. Like, thanks for the warning.
Yeah,
couple seconds later.
Seconds.
Great job. That's some real hardcore precog abilities she's working on.
So the apocalypse. So the train crashes, and then Lana wakes up like, I don't know, 30 seconds, an hour max later, and this is the state of the world. So just kind of keep that in mind as we go through this, so that even between the chapter breaks, we're looking at time lapses of like an hour or two at a time. So from the beginning of the game to the end is an afternoon, an evening. Like, it's like say it's late afternoon when it starts, and then by the end of the game, it's like bedtime. All right, so we've been introduced to the true antagonist of Amy. This guy, his name's Marcello. He's a bit of a shady character. He's a cab driver who also used to be a driver for the mob, which is why he has a DNA cracker for hacking into genetically keyed locks. And so we're gonna go steal some DNA so that we can get into this door. And if you were paying attention, there used to be a body here. You can't really see it because the camera angle's bad, but there used to be a body there, and it's not there anymore, and that's spooky, I guess. It's about as spooky as that art on the wall of the train just falling off and spooking Lana. It's about as spooky as Marcello's face. Maybe we'll get a close-up of it by accident at some point here, and you'll all get to see Marcello. So we're just gonna wait for him to take a couple steps into the room before we start this puzzle. so that we can actually get out around him after
Game
we're
Shark
done.
Key kills me every time. And you should donate a Game Shark. I have one. Maybe you could.
Oh god.
You could have that as an incentive.
There we go.
Fantastic. The juice is
So those puzzles are randomized every time. So, oh, this is weird. Where's okay? There's an enemy that didn't spawn.
Score. Does that mean you get to go faster now?
Aside from the fact that we've been going so fast that Lana is like completely out of stamina, yes, ish. I mean, it should save us a little bit of time. But so those puzzles, we need to actually like do them for real every time. You can't. There's no shortcut. There's how. So right off the bat, we've been introduced to a few of the true antagonists of Amy, doorways and frame drops. So one of the big speed things that we're going to be doing is that if we're holding Amy's hand, we can run at full speed with her. But if we're not holding Amy's hand, then she just kind of jogs along at her own pace. So we want to be holding her hand as much as possible, particularly for like long corridors and stuff like that. But the challenge is that Amy gets caught on things, on environmental objects really easily. She gets caught on vending machines and potted plants, like that potted plant right there. She gets caught on Marcello. She gets caught on doorways. And she also gets caught on dropped frames. So if the frame rate stutters, which it does often, then it's possible the game will just lose track of them holding each other's hands and just they'll just let go. It's really funny. It's super well made, you know.
Joyzy.
No sooner do I get away from Mrs. Jenkins when your train comes crashing into the station.
There we go.
We're almost there.
I missed the driving the docks in Joyce.
Oh,
You
God!
just missed
Oh,
it.
God,
You
I'm sorry.
just missed it.
Ah,
Driving the docks in Joyzy.
this is the second stream today I've invited myself into with that.
Wow,
aspect.
thanks,
Oh, excellent.
H-Bomb. Just blast on in there.
All right.
Sorry.
And we do. Okay, there's Super Steve and.
No, that's the whole point, is that we have to give him crap so that he can try to perfect his
Oh yeah.
dialogue even while there's people commenting on how bad he's doing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I need to be able to overcome
Someone to yell
hecklers.
over your intricately rehearsed practice with.
Yeah.
We have a $5 donation from
Yes, obviously.
Dickmaster69. Kill the animals. Also, kill the animals.
Yes, yes.
Perfect. 10 out of 10. Excellent. Excellent. I don't even want to like impersonation, just literal
Improvisation.
of
On point
literally
improvisation.
what they say and sound like. And oh no, we're getting caught on kind of like weird corners here.
No monster be calling out for a little boy.
That line just bothers me every time. No monster would be calling out for a little girl.
Dear God. What's
I
happened here?
love the occasional cuts to just Amy's face in close up.
Oh yeah, when she gets called a good girl and she gets just this glassy look on her face and like does a little hop. Yeah, it's really unsettling.
That's a cool feature in Until Dawn, where if the character is facing the camera and they stand still long enough, it just cuts to a close up of their face.
God, I'm gonna break something.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Being very tired.
Ah, I got caught on the
Maybe
garbage
Are
again.
you on an editing binge?
I was, and then I decided, oh, my my partner who lives in Australia is awake. I should probably talk to them.
Oh, smart. That's a good plan. Just
Yeah.
running your life on a completely different time zone. It's like me.
Yeah.
I basically I should live in California. Although if I lived in California, I would then be probably I would shift to the same schedule of, and then I guess the next place would be, I don't know, just Australia, Japan.
Nice.
I just keep moving
Yeah.
backwards around the globe, trying
Chasing
to
your
keep
own sleep
my chasing normal people's sleep, chasing normal daylight hours.
It's good to have you back, by the way. Are you home free?
Me? I
Yeah.
am. I'm finally in my own bed. I have survived my hunt for a wonderful sailor ghost husband and a lighthouse
husband.
and a lighthouse to live in my gothic romance Lovecraftian my Lovecraftian romance novel.
So here,
That I'm reading.
one of the things that we can do here. So we get stuck in this cutscene where we have to wait for Marcello to talk, and we can't move, but we can override the fact that we can't move by attacking, which lets Lana take a couple steps forward, and so we can use that to position ourselves right where we need to be to get under the table right away once we regain control. So Marcello is going to go off to confront these soldiers, and I don't know how to break this to anyone who really loved Marcello, who truly called him Cello in their hearts. But he gets shot like a lot and doesn't make it. So we won't be seeing him again.
Dan, I think the worst thing that's come out of you doing this stream is that you've officially learned every character's name, and I think that that's a tragedy, honestly. Like, no one should know every character's name in one video game. That's not a thing you should know. I barely know half the people I meet in real life's names.
All right, so chapter 2, in another cutscene that we skipped, Amy runs off again. It's a bit of a repeating theme for these first couple chapters, is that Amy just sort of runs off to somewhere, and she goes and hides in this locker, and then we're going to get to the checkpoint. We're just going to restart from the checkpoint because reloading is faster than actually sitting through the conversation between the two of them. That's going to be happening a lot here in Chapter 2. We'll be using checkpoint reloads to skip cutscenes and to skip just various small inconveniences. And also to do some really, really fun and wacky stuff later. It's gonna be so much fun.
Oh God, I think that's the first time I've seen that shot of.
So that's
Zomboid.
Yeah. So that's the ogre. This is the only place the ogre shows up, and this is one of the moments in the game where we want to go fast, but not too fast, because we can actually outrun the ogre. And if we come around the corner and the ogre is still there, it'll just turn and kill us. So we need to wait for it to get around that corner so that we can then face the true antagonist of Amy, Jared Leto.
Jared Leto. Should I loudly start singing 30 Seconds to Mars? I'll just start belting some.
All right, so we need to put Amy into this little control room here so that we can go around to the corner and tell her to pick up a key card so that we can take her back out so that we can get into that door on the other side of the hallway. Really just like top-notch puzzle design here. And we can actually steer during that little cutscene of Amy's reaction. So you end up having to do it. You end up doing it by touch. Like you just kind of get used to how it feels to steer yourself around the corner, while you can't actually see what you're doing. And this is a stealth puzzle, and we're instead just going to run right across the glass, hit this computer, and then restart from checkpoint. So this will both reset aggro on the Super Jared in the previous room, who we angered by walking on his glass. It's also going to load the next chunk of the level faster than if we actually waited for it to load by opening the door. So if you wait for the door to open, it loads all of the assets, and if you just reload from checkpoint, you get to watch the assets pop into existence because they're not all there yet. So right away, another checkpoint reload, because there's a couple puzzles that the game expects you to do in order to lure that soldier out of the room. But if you get to the lock and hit the checkpoint and then reload, it just assumes that you had done everything needed to get to that point and lets you out. So this around the corner here is one of the worst designed puzzles in the history of mankind. These red lasers, there is nothing in the game that tells you what to do. You're supposed to walk slowly, or alternately you can just barrel into them at full speed.
It's time to have some fun, Amy.
So now we get to actually wait for a level chunk to load properly, because this one unfortunately isn't a checkpoint, so we get to just watch Amy tippity tap as she hacks into this computer system to open the door.
Amy, you're such
There
a
we
brave
go.
Girl. We're getting out of here.
So I don't actually know what they intend for you to do in this room. The intended mechanics don't really make any sense with the way that this room can be laid out. There's two monsters that can spawn in here randomly, and so it's the tools it gives you is in theory a stealth puzzle, but it doesn't. It's just it's just weird. There's nothing in this room. You go through all of that loading just to basically get in that room, and then nothing happens, and then we're gonna hit a checkpoint and reload again, and now we get to be really, really good caretakers of this vulnerable child by just leaving her in this room, because we don't need her anymore. She's not
super
useful
rude.
to us. So now I gotta remember to pump the brakes a little bit here, because we don't want to miss this guy. We gotta hit him with a board in order to prevent a cutscene from coming up, so that we can open this door. And
John, the scrambler in the server room is starting to show signs of wear and tear. Go take a look at it, will ya?
all right,
Now we just
get
need
the
to
green
find that
key
server.
card. So we need the green key card to get into the server room. And oh,
A scrambler
oh, there we
is a
go,
machine
and we're
with
good.
jammed signals.
We made it out past everybody.
I'll show you.
So because we killed the zombie, that gate is open. Otherwise we would need the orange key card, and we don't have the orange key card. And we're gonna
Wow.
weave around a bunch of puzzles on the floor that we can't see in order to get to the next mastermind puzzle. And
Dan,
end a level.
we need to think of like a Jeopardy theme type time killing song that I can hum softly to you while you try to solve these puzzles.
Yeah, special hell saying like that's going to be one of the things that I'm going to have to just like write out, is the whole explanation of that, because that whole part of chapter 2 is really dense. Like the things that I want to comment on come and go so fast that yeah, And that's actually a fake Chapter 2 crown because I didn't hit the split until about 10 seconds late. So, but so, yeah, the whole back half of Chapter 2, I'm gonna have to pretty much just script down to the second. It's so consistent, and also I spent some time practicing the final hallway so that I no longer stand in the big giant puddle. I have finally, after 18 weeks, figured out where it is and can go around it.
Ellen's cut off.
So Chapter 3 is the true antagonist of Amy. It's the roughest chapter. There's a lot that we need to do that we can't bypass, and it's not particularly fun. There's a lot of it's a lot of back and forth. The checkpoints are spread out at really awkward spaces. So if you make any mistakes, you end up needing to redo a lot of the level. So we're going to try not to make any mistakes at all. And hopefully it'll all go really well. All right, so we're sending Amy up to the top of this elevator because up there is a button that we need her to push. And if we could get around that, we wouldn't have her there, like, at all. And I'm doing things in slightly the wrong order, or at least I'm slightly the wrong rhythm order. It won't make a difference in terms of total time, but it screws up my rhythm just a little bit. Oh, and now it's costing me time because now I'm swinging the camera around at weird spots. And that's the wrong thing.
Lana, we've got this weird theory we're going over. It looks like the only people who are turning into these monsters are citizens born in Silver City. It's weird. Have you
There it is. Come on. Come on.
Right,
There we go.
Ellen.
No, come
I'll
on.
ask the next zombie where he was born before he bites me.
No. So there's a... All right, I'll just do it from the other side. It'll be fine. Oh. Now I'm just kind of like losing time and rhythm and pace to that thing, that hitting that switch in the wrong order is... There we go. So basically now the main thing is that we're going to get here and we're going to have to wait for the elevator. It is net the same amount of time because you need to wait for this cutscene one way or another. It's just nice to already have it waiting for you, you know? Like when the elevator's just there. It's really, really convenient. So this is the first time we've been running into this infection mechanic. So Lana's infection rate goes up, and when it hits a certain point, she starts getting voices in her head. And she's actually having a conversation with Ellen right now about these metastims, and we're just going to go ahead and like shoot one of them like right into our neck.
Well then.
And get our board. We got our stick. And we're gonna get ambushed by a bunch of Jareds. A whole bunch of them are gonna pop out. So there's 4 of them that have now spawned in the room. Their placement can make or break kind of how this goes. Oh. There we go. That's good. Him we can kind of ignore for now. You're in a bad spot. I don't like you being there. There we go. Now you're dead.
No, you're dead, Dan.
I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Jared's dead.
You've been asleep this whole time. This was all a dream.
You're so brave. Thank you.
All right. So here we're going to do something a little bit, a little counterintuitive. We're actually going to back up in order to save time. And Amy let go of my hand at the last second, and that's really obnoxious because this Jared caught up and is like, I don't know what's going on. Oh, he's trying to drain her. Okay, so this is why I like to kill them all before we get to this point. Normally, I get flack whenever I do kill them all because it takes time, but whenever I don't kill them all, things go horribly wrong. So I'm more of a I definitely lean towards safety strats. Like I prefer safety strats even if they end up being a bit slower. I like having more consistent runs. But that also limits me from ever actually competing for the current world record because I'm slow. All right. So there should still be one lurking around here. Yeah, I think that was them back there blending into the terrain because everything just looks like gray blobs and the frame rate is atrocious. So it all just sort of looks the same. But nope, too fast on skipping that cutscene. But we're good. We're good. We're good. Moving on to the next section, we're gonna quickly hit Amy's power wheel just to make sure that we didn't get a glitch that will remove Amy's abilities because we need her to have these shockwave charges so that we can send them up and break those boards, and that right there just skips that entire puzzle on the far side of the room. So that's why we backed up. We backed up to get those 2 charges so that we could break those boards without needing to do that whole puzzle on the far side of the room. And that winds up saving us a bunch of time, actually. Not quite a minute, but thereabouts, about 40 seconds or so net difference by backing up versus doing that puzzle. So there's another spooky art at the bottom of this ladder. It doesn't want to spook us today. That's fine. That's all right. I'm not going to complain because spooking us eats time, even if it is funny. So we're gonna get Amy to recharge again at this glyph, and just while we wait for that, we'll do a bit of housekeeping. We'll close that gate just so that there's a zombie who might decide to show up, and if they do, we won't have to deal with them because they'll get stuck on the other side of the door.
Don't get stuck, Dan.
So, true antagonist of Amy, needing to mantle up 3 sets of boxes in a row. And then we're just gonna go up these boxes and like that, and yeah, the game wants us to a bunch of stuff, but we're just gonna fall off. That's all right. I can attempt this a couple times before it's slower than actually solving the puzzle. I usually don't fall off once I'm on, but that time I did. So, anything can happen. Anything can go wrong at any time. But
Anytime.
we're good. I nailed it the second time, so that's as good as nailing it the first. Like, really, when you think about it. If you think about it long enough, nailing it the second time is as good as nailing it the first. And then we just need to call Amy out here. It's better to just sort of wait for her here, because navigating her through that narrow passageway is a huge pain in the butt. And then we want her specifically in our right hand, because it's going to make it generally easier, no, wrong hand, to navigate through the rest of this level. As long as you don't face plant her into the Pepsi machine, you're good. And I just tried to skip a cutscene that I know is unskippable, so that's good. Alright, so by having her in the right hand, we can just grind Lana's face against the train and end the chapter. So while it's loading, we have time for some donations.
Oh yeah, donations. Just you guys got a $10 donation for Corny on Main over here. And it's just oh hi H-Bomb. Hey H-Bomb, where did you get that big banana suit that's in your profile photo?
Oh, it's a long story. A friend of mine.
Really, what I want to know is, can I get a corn one?
Possibly yes, but that's not mine. Someone called me when they were in their home country at university. They were like, "Hey, there's this picture contest, and my camera and the outfit I need are back there. I need you to break into my apartment and put on the suit and make someone else take pictures of you eating a banana while dressed as a banana."
I love it. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So chapter 4. From a casual run perspective, chapter 4 is awful. From a speedrunning perspective, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of neat tricks we got to do, and they're challenging, and they come at you pretty fast. So first, we're going to fail, and we're going to fall into the pit and die. So that right there just cost us about 45 seconds. That's cool. So we'll just pretend that didn't happen, because doing it the second time, as we've already established, nailing it the second time is just as good as nailing it the first. So chapter 4 is, from a casual play perspective, chapter 4 is atrocious, but from a speedrunning perspective, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of tricks, and it goes pretty fast. They come at you fast and furious. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to arc properly, and we're going to miss it, and we're going to miss it, and now I'm choking, and come on. All right, we're going to back up, and we're just going to get here, and we're going to nail it this time, and there we go. So we're just going to damage boost across the gaps so that we can run across the wall walk at full speed instead of needing to actually walk across it. Then we're going to slide between the proximity mine and the wall. Grab a stick. Beat up Steve in his Letterman jacket. And there we go. Get a good dodge in there. Lana's health is doing pretty bad. I'm playing. I'm gambling with the devil right now that I might just drop dead before I get to my next destination. If I take a hit here, I'll probably die. But we made it where we need to go, so we're going to pump ourselves full of healing. And the fact that we're actually really low on health is going to help us, because the way that the healing works is it just keeps healing you until you're back at full. So if you're really low on health, you can heal boost all the way through an insta-kill hallway. Oh, hey, Amy, where'd you come from?
Do we need
All right.
a "Oh hey Amy, where'd you come from" counter in the corner of the screen?
All right, so we're at 34, 36. All right. 34, 36, so 35, 29. All right, so this is a moment where this is supposed to be a combat gauntlet. You're supposed to stand at the door and defend the door until Amy manages to open it. And this is a great example of where speedrunning really involves looking at games through a little bit more of an abstract lens. That the implicit rules of the engagement, like we as the player, as the audience, are inclined to do the things that the game tells us to do. And so if they tell us to guard the door, we're going to be inclined to guard the door. But it turns out that's actually really hard. And in a casual playthrough, this is a spot where it's really easy to get stonewalled because it's really hard. But if you just discard the rules as implied, it ends up being really easy. That little bit right there, the first time I did it in the week 17 stream, I nailed it. So I'm pretty much just gonna like copy that, because that version that I just did was like way too long. It was way too long. Did they both leave on me?
No, I'm here.
Oh.
I'm right here. I'm just muted because I'm furiously
He's
writing a
muted because
response
he's
to a-
having an
to a DM
internet
I got sent.
argument.
Yes.
And I am quiet because well,
I don't know, it was
I
just
just
weird, like no one responded to it.
I'm sorry.
I don't. You have this beautiful thing that you've created, and I just don't know where I'm gonna say stupid things yet.
I got sent a DM today by, let's call them political philosophy Stephen.
Oh no.
That opens with, "I'm very disappointed in you." So I need to write a response that's eloquent and good and also tells them to go fuck themselves. So you know, I'm crafting that while I watch this amazingly done speedrun. By the way, you are on track. Like, this is going super well.
Yeah, I'm off. I'm actually off cycle on chapter 5 here by just a little bit. I screwed up a very tiny thing, and it set me off an entire cycle. So if you do things in actually the correct order and you don't screw up pushing that dumpster out of the way, then it lines up perfectly that you can just keep walking. You don't need to wait for the Letterman Steve to turn around, because in this level and this level only, if any of the zombies spot you, it is an instant game over. So also you may be wondering what's going on right now, because we are able to just sort of like wander around. Is that if you reach a certain infection level, this was a mechanic that we were supposed to be learning last chapter, but if you reach a certain infection level, then Lana can sort of like sneak around and the zombies will ignore her. So we needed to get past Letterman Steve so that we could get over to the gas vent so that we could raise our infection level so that we could sneak through the level. Now there's a whole bunch of puzzles all around us. There's one using where we're supposed to sneak past a bunch of glass using Amy's silence bubble power, which we have not actually seen in the game at all because we've routed it out entirely. You're supposed to be like bending her mind bullets around corners in order to set off car alarms in order to lure zombies. Or you can just run to the end, pick up the yellow key card, and reload from checkpoint.
Right.
Oh, hey, Amy, where did you come from?
Oh, hey, Amy, where'd you come from?
doorways, once again, the true antagonist of Amy. This one, however, is a nice wide doorway. Very accommodating. Send a shockwave down to the end of the hall to break those. From a game mechanic, like from a behind the scenes mechanic, there's a bunch of really weird stuff going on with this specific hallway. And we're not sure like what or why, but this guard, we have tried endlessly to get around them, but if you go into that room before hiding in this locker, the guard will instantly appear at the doorway and shoot you. And there's nothing you can do about it. It is a specific trigger. And we're not going to use the elevator or the ladder because those are for chumps when we can just, like, run off the edge. And doing a couple quick inputs there where we open the door and also have Amy turn on her lantern at the same time. Inputs in the game get really challenging because you're trying to move and steer and do a bunch of things at the same time and also not lose Amy on walls so that you can go at max speed. But taking your, like, in order to enter any of the inputs, it means canceling the others. So a big thing is that in order to run, we're using the left analog stick, but we are also holding L1 and pumping square. So running in the game and running with Amy. Oh, and then also we're holding R1 in order to hold Amy's hand. So running in the game actually requires 4 inputs. And I kind of screwed up there a little bit and got stuck on terrain, but it's fine. It's fine. We'll be fine. So this gate is a little bit unique in that Lana can't open or close it, but Amy can. And if the gate is closed when we hit the checkpoint, a bunch of zombies spawn and their AI, most of the time, glitches out, and instead of chasing us down, they just stand in place and do nothing. So this is another genetic lock, so where we find the dead soldier, scan them for their DNA, and thank you, Amy, for lighting the way back across. We're just going to leave you in the sewer, because we don't actually need you to get out of here.
She has the red rings.
That is the red rings. That is the DNA cracker that Marcello, you can call him Cello because he's a friend, gave us back in chapter 1.
From Joyzy?
Yeah, Cello from Joyzy, Marcello from Joyzy. You can call him Cello because he's a friend. He gave us that back in chapter 1, and we've been using it since. It scans DNA and cracks genetic locks using scanned DNA. I'm sure Amy will be fine in that sewer, by the way. She's resilient. She has magic powers.
Now's a good time to read
donations.
So that Dan will go on a Skype date with you. And
oh wow, I want that.
We're gonna have a bachelor auction with Dan.
If enough money gets donated, this won't be official because it can't be, but I will speedrun Haiti. I don't know what the goal is, but
I love it.
Island goal.
I love it. How H-Bomb, what if we got enough donations to the bachelor auction, would you also join the Skype date? Would you make it like a group date?
Oh
Just
wow,
Skype date in.
that sounds like a lot. But
So I screwed up a bit there, but it didn't actually impact anything. We didn't lose any time because this whole setup period here is actually on a fixed time. So instead of it costing me time, it instead just looked really sloppy. It's my favorite kind of mistakes is the ones that just make me look bad but don't actually cost me time. So we're waiting for Willem here to get up. He is the manager, leader of the center, and he turned into a zombie during the cutscene at the beginning of this level. And so he now looks an awful lot like Willem Dafoe, circa Ryuk, circa Death Note, circa Netflix. None of those are actually circa anything, but it sounds really funny to word it that way. And what the hell? Time.
Did you do it?
It ended a cycle early.
that's pretty good.
It just
wow.
I only had to do it twice. Like, okay.
Wow.
All right.
Well, that's a new glitch to find. Maybe you can figure out how to make that happen again.
We just made speedrunning history. Only speedrun history. What gives Vexel the edge in the world record?
She's better than me.
Oh. Oh, that's a problem.
I don't. I keep meaning to do like a side by side, but yeah, I just two shot him. Like I don't know. I'm wondering.
You're gonna have to rewatch that replay.
I think I suspect. I suspect I know what just happened. I'm gonna try it real quick. I'm gonna try something real quick.
How did you skip an entire chapter?
That one was pure luck.
What? But how?
It just didn't load the chapter.
Like it just didn't. Dan, you've
Like
broken this game.
No,
You've
like
run
it
so
literally.
many
I
times,
finished.
It's starting to glitch for you.
I finished chapter 3 and then it just loaded chapter 5. I don't know what or how, but it did. It just loaded chapter 5. Okay, so I'm gonna test something real quick. I think I might know what happened, and if it's replicable, then this might be amazing.
Replicable two-shotting the final boss guy?
Okay, if it is what
or replicating not loading the chapter?
No. So two-shotting the boss, or maybe even like one-shotting him. I'm wondering. Okay, here's sort of a weird suspicion, is that by kind of charging into the boss's face like I did, it like triggered more damage than normal. Like it registered as multiple hits. So that by standing inside his hitbox when doing the attack, that's what I'm hoping it is. That, or it was just a purely random glitch.
It's just like a game, Amy. We have to hide and then run. And we can't get caught.
So that, or like, okay, I have a couple theories in mind. One is that it was so soon in between attacks, like that my turnaround between the first attack and the second attack was so fast that, like, I don't know, maybe he has some hidden healing mechanic or something. and so he hadn't healed up, and so it only took 2 hits to take him down. But I don't know. So I'm gonna try just really getting up in his face.
Get up in his face.
Yeah. Okay, no. At the very least, it's not gonna one-shot him.
Amy, quick, push the button.
Oh, and then okay. Right.
Hurry, Amy, he's coming. It's just like a game, Amy. We have to hide and then run. And we can't get caught.
Or maybe it was... I wonder if it was healing at the same time. Like if it was that I was in a healing state. There's a bunch of things that I'm thinking it could be. All right. Well, whatever it is, that isn't it.
Amy, quick, push the button.
Dan, what are you gonna do if it doesn't load an entire chapter when you're doing your GDQ run?
I'm going to laugh my ass off and then just
And beat
and
the
then
world
just
record?
roll with it. Yeah, and then just beat the world record.
Are you gonna explain what happened?
I will explain what happened. Unfortunately, I'll be sad about needing to skip, like, I don't know, an entire chapter of stuff, unless it skips chapter 3. Though that would be mildly hilarious if it. It would be mildly hilarious if we did have the donation incentive and then chapter 3 just like didn't load. All right, let's.
Did it take 3 that time?
Yeah,
I
it took
wasn't
3 that
looking.
time. I just kind of kept going for, I don't know, continued muscle memory building or whatever. We're gonna just do a straight replica, try and get 2-shot. So if we get 2-shot, really, like, it's right. I should try to replicate literally what I just did rather than just shortcutting all the way to, well, if it works XYZ way, then we should be able to one-shot him. You know?
I think I know.
You
I don't know what I know anymore.
You don't know what you know?
Oh God.
I don't even know what I know. The unknown knowns.
The unknown knowns.
Are these... Yeah, these are unknown knowns rather than known unknowns.
How do you know what you don't know if you
Unknown
don't know if
unknowns?
you really know it?
Unknown unknowns and known unknowns and
I
unknown
need
knowns.
you gotta answer that question, please. I really need to know.
The things you don't know that you know are important.
How do
Those
you
are-
know? How do you know what you don't know if you don't know if you really know it?
Well, partially. Partially you're right, but also partially, in a way, what we're talking about is ideology. The things that we don't know that we know are things like, we look at the world with a perspective, and we're not aware that that's our perspective. We don't know who discovered water, but we're pretty sure it's not the fish. The fish didn't know they were swimming in water, but they did because they lived it.
I was just thinking a couple days ago about trying to craft a Twitter joke about how if I had a time machine or like the power to just travel to any arbitrary point in time, I'd use it to look up like random weird esoteric bullcrap. Like I want to see the first time someone cooked a meal specifically to be delicious. Like what was the first argument?
Good, not just survival.
Yeah, like what was the first? I want to see the first argument about how to properly cook barbecue.
Wow.
That it's like a bunch of cavemen being like, no, you're doing it wrong. You are doing it wrong.
I want to see the first person to look at a mom's boob and then check out a cow and go, same.
Nah,
and
see that
milk.
I mean, that one's gonna be super easy because it's like, oh, you know. That one's not nearly as weird as people like to play it up to be.
Yeah, but like, okay, so a cow though, unless it's
because you watch
like a
calves
baby
feeding.
a baby cow, unless it's abandoned by its mom, right? It doesn't like go out of its way to like find milk elsewhere. So we still are the only weird mammals that on purpose drink other mammals' baby food.
Yeah, because we figured out we could just take it from them.
We could just take it from everyone else. What about the first person who accidentally made cheese and decided to try it anyway?
That one actually is probably that the shepherds would have made bags would have made like wine skin or like water skins basically out of sheep gut, which contains the enzyme that would turn it into curd. And I suspect that if you're a subsistence shepherd who doesn't have refrigeration, cheese curd is probably like as good as anything else. I mean, and cheese curd's fine. Like, so just, be the first person to take a risk to put that chunky thing in your mouth because, like, hey, it should be good enough and
should be good.
And then it's like, oh, it's tasty, I think you turned on the defib when he was already standing in the puddle.
Do you want to be there when
I would have to.
What do you want to be there when someone decided to pile all of the ingredients for poutine, like in one?
Like the first poutine.
The first, like, I'm gonna throw all this leftover shit from the kitchen onto these fries.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I haven't had poutine, but I've had chips with cheese and gravy, and that's really, really.
That
nice.
is poutine.
So anything like that.
Like, no, here's the thing. Like, so
Dan has opinions.
I have
on
opinions.
Poutine.
I have opinions about
give me- I
poutine,
love
but
it.
specifically my opinions about poutine are I really, really dislike people who excessively gatekeep what counts as poutine, because poutine, it's street food. Poutine is street food. It's like when people get like super up in arms about like, no, that's not a real hot dog. And it's like, are you kidding me? It's street meat. It's a hot dog. The whole point of it is, getting super worked up about like what's a proper taco. It's like, no, the whole point of it is that it is cheap, accessible, garbage food that you eat at 3 a.m.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's
no one should care
amazing.
about what's in a taco, and that's why hot dogs are tacos as well.
And
you can't take it back. That's Dan's opinion
No.
now too.
Oh, God.
He said it.
And so so aggressively like being like, oh well, that's not like real poutine, and it's like, yes it is, because poutine is this like infinitely flexible, beautiful garbage
When
dish
you come
of
H-Rum, you
gravy
gotta
and
try
cheese.
disco fries, which is
You give me,
the
this is giving me good
terrible New
feelings.
York American version
So
of poutine.
is the curdness of the cheese not a part of it? I
Like,
Well,
thought those cheese
I
curds
mean,
were part of
technically,
it.
if you really
No.
want it to be poutine, it has to be curds. But like other people make poutine knockoffs that are just other cheeses and
just
dancing, but those are
mozzarella.
fine.
Yeah, those are
Because
fine.
I love it with cheese, and I don't know if cheese curds would be better or worse, really. But I mean, I like I like the theory, you know.
You need to try. You need to try when you come this summer. You need to try disco fries,
Mm.
which are it's American poutine knockoff, except instead of fries / chips, it's tater tots, and it's like some kind of cheese. It's not cheese curds though. Some American kind of cheese.
So one of the things that I love about poutine, like that it is ultimately like really flexible. That you can do a lot of different things with it. So like the greatest poutine that I ever had replaced the fries with mini pierogies.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Like
I know,
just
right?
traditional potato, like nothing else, like
No,
potato
mini
pierogi.
pierogies, like the little
Yeah.
mini cheesy
Pierogies,
pierogies.
like regular pierogies is just potato in a pasta thing. Like all other things inside a pierogi are additional optional.
Okay, so it wasn't. I didn't turn it on while he was standing in the puddle because that's kind of impossible with the angle that he approaches at.
Look, now people are arguing over pizza and what is good pizza, and I'm just gonna tell you right now that New York pizza is the best pizza. I will fight anyone on this. You can't go get fucking fancy pizza at some place that claims like they're the original best New York pizza. No, you gotta get like fucking street walking pizza from the dollar pizzas. Really, what you want is a place that serves it for the price of a Subway fare. We've had this combo before, but obviously I need to restate it because people just don't listen. So you got to go to a place that serves it for like $2.75 a slice. It's gonna be better than the like cheap dollar shit, but it's gonna be not trying to be fancy. It's not, you don't want a piece that's trying to be fancy. You just want like good, classic New York pizza, best pizza.
I'm starting to think that whatever happened was just a miracle glitch where the game decided to end. The game just decided to end early.
They're like, yeah, he's got it.
What if you just stood in the position to get him into the puddle, then ran to turn on the defib? Maybe. I don't know. Let's give it a try.
No, dog strong the strongest. I am not saying that this is true of anywhere, and the best pizza is just your local pizzeria with that has big slices. That's not New York style pizza, and it's not New York made pizza. I'm saying literally the pizza that you get here is the best
Oh.
pizza. Now, I mean, like New York style pizza elsewhere, you can do it. You can do it. It's gonna be missing something, a little bit of joie de vivre, if you will, a little je ne sais quoi. Okay, but it's not gonna be.
So
missing
now I've got to
so
go to
much that
France to
you
get my
can't have
pizza.
it.
What is this? I mean, honestly, I like my
You're
pizza
closer
slightly
to France
undercooked.
than me, aren't you?
I buy an oven pizza
Wait.
and I cook it in the oven for 2 minutes less than you're supposed to, and I eat it while it's still doughy and weird and just warm dough.
I'm into
and
that.
I love
No,
it.
you don't understand. I'm so into that. I'm here for that. Like I also want that pizza. I also want that pizza. I'm just saying that the best pizza is New York pizza. If we're being honest.
You know, we haven't. It's been a while since we tried just like beating him to death, and I'm a lot better at the game than I was back. One. Okay. Okay, we're gonna. All right, we're gonna try some. We might be substantially reordering the.
Also, the thing that makes New York pizza even better is the fact that we have garlic knots. Okay, it's better than garlic bread. It's so much better than garlic bread. Get yourself some garlic knots and live your best life. Also, zeppoli, like Italian pizzeria made zeppoli as like your post pizza snack is fucking chef kiss. Just touch your own body and enjoy it. It's so good.
Oh.
Okay, so. So Willem just he doesn't have special mechanics. I'm kind of starting to piece this together. Willem doesn't have special mechanics. He just has health. Like he just has a lot of hit points. And so normally you want to kill him by using executes because they do just a truckload of damage. I am now wondering if it might actually just be faster, maybe less consistent, maybe riskier. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's try we'll have Amy here for healing.
The other pizza that I just like have a soft spot for, actually, you guys, is Detroit style pizza. So Detroit style pizza is, it's a deep dish. It's not a Chicago style fucking lasagna. It is like a square Pizza Hut or like a Jets, like a fluffy Jets kind of deep dish.
Has anyone here had Eagle Boys?
And no, what is
Eagle
that?
Boys is like a kind of pizza in Australia that apparently is awful and bad, but some people absolutely swear by.
Oh wow, I've never had that. No.
Okay, I haven't either. I've just heard legends of it.
I've heard legends. But yeah, so Detroit style pizza also has all corner slices. Every slice is a corner. Because of the way it's cooked, the kind of pans that they use, they have these little dividers. So, and it comes from, like, the first place that kind of sort of invented Detroit-style pizza was making, like, a less shitty deep dish than Chicago, you know, because it's kind of close-ish. And then they had all of these old, like, metal things from old factories that just had never been used, like all these molds that had been made, and they just were like, let's just shove pizza dough into these little square engine block things that were never manufactured on and cook some pizza, and fucking cooked it up, and a beautiful, beautiful pizza was born. Beautiful pizza. I wouldn't say it's best, but I have a soft spot for it. I enjoy it because I am from Michigan, so.
Leon Fenrir, who clearly is an Australian because they're up right now, says they're hard to find because the pizza's so bad people stop buying it and they go out of business. So cool.
Oh, so you've only heard legends and now you'll never get to try it.
Yeah, like it's like the Barrier Reef, only even sadder. I'll never get to experience it. I'm definitely gonna find an Eagle Boys
exhaust manifold. No, they're like
Good.
these square trays that have these other like so imagine like a big square and then there's a cross, like a T that goes into the middle. And basically lets you create a bunch of corner slices in like a normal small size pizza, small square size pizza.
I'm feeling like right now the answer to this is just okay. Shock him twice for like the big damage, but then after that, like after the second shock, just keep hitting him.
Just keep beating him
Just
in the
keep
face
beating him in
instead
the
of
face.
trying to run and defib him a third time.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a pretty good strat. You should try and see if you can get like a faster time.
So all right, let's.
Why do you
to-
guys call him Willem Dafoe?
Because he
Because
looks like
is the foe.
well, because he looks like Ryuk from Death Note, specifically
yeah.
the Willem Dafoe version.
Specifically the Willem Dafoe version.
Well, that's another bridge burned.
What? Oh no! Oh,
With James Kino, yeah. James Inskino Gayen. I hope that's the right German.
so.
Shannon is testing out the new like Wi-Fi dongle on her computer, and the messages were sent in such a weird order that it was like a bit shocking. Like just that it was like these two messages in quick succession. Haha! Just heard a bunch of gunshots outside. Then the next message: the dongle works! Or exclamation marks. Just like. I admire your dedication to figuring out more strats. So is beating him to death like actively successful?
We're gonna find out, I guess. H-Bomb, do you see this message from Leon?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. Don't
Yeah,
ask me
okay.
how or why I know, but Eagle Boys Eastwood is where you want to be. The best part is it's right next to dozens of better places, so you can hate yourself while you enjoy your crazy triangle. Oh wow.
Triangle.
All right.
I
Well,
love
he
it.
should. All right. I'm
Hollywood
wondering.
was that for me when I was
So
in Wales.
I have this group of a close friend of mine is a teacher at a school in Massachusetts. One of the people I go visit in Mass a bunch, and every spring she brings a group of her students to New York for what they call their theater intensive.
No, I know.
And they're here.
Sorry, one second. I know I only zapped him once. I was initially just kind of seeing like it's like okay, I want a sense of I kind of want to do one where I just run around and gather all the healing items so that we can figure out just how many hits he takes. And then from that we can back solve how much damage each shock and execute does. Does that make sense?
Yes. I keep muting to type. I'll stop now. I finished.
Yes. Good job. Oh, so
Okay.
the kids come here for their little crazy trip, and while they're here, they pack lunches. They do breakfast at their place that they stay. They pack a PB&J sort of lunch and snacks, and then for dinner, the 2 days that they're here, they get New York pizza, and it's always really fun to take them because you always take them to the place that does like 2 slices and a can of Coke for like $2.75, and you take them and you're like, okay, who wants to split with someone? And the first day, maybe like a couple people who just really know their own selves decide they're going to split with a friend, but most people are like, no, I got this. And then they get the 2 slices of New York pizza and they're just so gigantic and you just see their faces, like their eyes just glaze over like, oh God, what
This is
have
gonna
I
be a
done?
task. The Shadow of the Colossus boss fight music starts playing.
It's exactly what happens. And then the second night you go to get them their dinner at the pizza place and all the kids are like, I will find a friend. We will each have one of the slices, thank you. Just that number of people wanting to share to go from like 2 to like 10 is my favorite. Because no one believes you. No one believes you how big the slices are if they've never really been here. Or like even if you have and you haven't seen one in a while, it's hard to remember till it's like in your hand and you have this like ratio of like, oh, I literally can't see the paper plate that's under it. Like it's hanging off all of the sides.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25! Okay, there we go. There's your fastest. So, alright, so it's just a rhythm of swing and then charge him. Swing, 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 charge, swing, 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 charge, swing, 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 charge. 25 hits, and he dies. So
Wow.
we don't even need to figure out the math now. Like, that was, like, a minute, maybe. Let's time it. Oh, that's gonna wanna...
You know what my favorite part about you figuring out ways to go faster is that Vex is gonna see it and then like execute it perfectly and make the best time even further for you to try to reach.
Vex is watching and taking notes.
It's totally true.
All right, here, I'm just gonna go to the other timer. I'm just gonna go to the other timer, the stopwatch, and yeah. When did I reshuffle all of these things? Okay. I'm gonna need to like reset all that, but oh, when to time from? I guess. Oh, all right. We'll just do it from load. We can do it. We can do it twice just to. We can do a regular time afterwards to make sure that we're timing from the same point. I mean, whether we use lap from end of loading or from start of loading is kind of same difference. Like, I mean, either way, you're using just a arbitrary starting point, and from start of loading is easier because then I can just hit both buttons at the same time. And yeah, you get to see the, like, yes, the loads are like over a minute each. All right, there we go.
Hurry, he's coming.
So, are those babies little Amy's?
Oh, yeah, so there's all these, there's a room with a bunch of tanks full of fetuses that is completely unremarked upon and unexplained, but yeah, I guess those are Amy's. Like, it's weird because we're in the hospital, right? Like, we're in the hospital where we were going to meet Ellen. And
Yeah, this is a game that needed a lot more horror elements and a lot less what it is elements. What even is this?
oh, I'm not trapped in this elevator with you. You're trapped in this elevator with me.
Figured it out. So, were you supposed to, like, learn to strategize and get him trapped, and you've just become a master of the probe?
The master of the probe.
Probe, as in crowbar. Not probe. Oh, that would be indecent. Oh no.
So that was 253.
Good ending cutscene.
$252. $252. And oh, if I hit start, will it actually? Oh, I'll need to. All right, we'll just reset. So 252, 252. We know that time. All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello and welcome to Amy.
Oh, with like not even with like I've got that. Like that is actually really easy. That is really, really easy. The only so it would actually come down to, in a competitive sense, like, okay, shaving off a couple seconds by minimizing, like by like just really optimizing the fight. Like it's like, okay, don't get hit, you know, hit your, like, don't swing in the wrong direction. Just keep your positioning with him really, really consistent and steady, and land all your hits, or as many of them as you can, with RNG. And yeah, but that is really, really easy to replicate. And on easy mode, you have, like, there is a ton of leeway. So oh, come on.
It's just like a game. We have to hide and we can't get caught.
So I suspect what happened with the Shock 2 Punch is just that for whatever reason he took a little bit more damage than normal. Because when I did the kill after 2, it only took like 2 or 3 hits to take him down after he had taken 2 shocks. So I suspect that if there's any, like, if the crowbar does random damage, like if there is actually a damage range on how much it hits for, then it's theoretically possible that just between everything he'll randomly end up taking enough damage in 2 swings to kill him. You know, every 100 runs or so.
It's always a shame when a mechanic is just obscured enough that it's not clear what you could be doing to make it simpler. I'm sure there'll be a way to figure that out as time goes on. Like, I don't know why people speedrun GoldenEye to a certain extent, because it's like...
Solved.
Yeah, and because so much of it is random. Like, a lot of it is like, to get the fastest time on some levels, it relies on the hostages escaping, and they run around randomly.
Oh
And if
yeah,
you
like the
escape
boat
level, you
level.
fail. So it's
Yeah,
just like-
yeah, I remember the
Yeah.
they did it. Was it spring or was it last or was it 324? Yeah, like the last time they ran GoldenEye at GDQ, I watched it and they got to the boat level and it was just like, all right, so we're going to go through this level like absurdly fast and then we're going to get to the end and we're going to pray that it worked right.
Yeah.
So 322, so 322 for that, and then 252, so 30 seconds.
Wow. That's really good.
So that's a solid shave.
Yeah.
To just
And a
do the beat.
haircut,
So
2
yeah,
bits.
so you save 30 seconds just doing the beat down, which then I guess raises the question: is there
So
some
really-
combination
so
of the
this is the
two
third.
that is
This is the-
optimal?
This is the third thing, though, in this game, where if you don't do the implied mechanic, you do the game better.
Yeah, you win
Like,
faster.
you,
Oh, yeah,
you can-
there's multiple-
You can walk right through the lasers.
Yeah. If you
can
just
skip
run
the
right through the
gauntlet,
lasers.
And now, if you just beat the boss to death instead of doing what the game wants you to do, you go faster and better.
Oh crap! I didn't start the. Sorry.
Even the chapter menu has more room on it for chapters that they just didn't finish.
Oh, have you seen the power wheel? This is a thing that I used to
Oh,
mention.
God.
I used to mention this in the run, but I haven't in a while because it just fell off out of the commentary, and I'm going to try to work it back in. But the thing is, we try to minimize how much time we're even looking at Amy's power wheel because it's really slow. And you want to do it fast, so, you know, it's a detail that people can't really see. But since since I forgot to hit the timer, we're gonna reload real quick here, and I'll just pull it up and do. Oh God, so much loading, and we're gonna have to sit through this load again in a second here. Okay, so this is Amy's power wheel. At the bottom is her Mind Blast power. To the bottom left is her Silence Bubble. And so there's 3 other slots on this power wheel that are unused. Like, they're clearly there. They have pips and everything. They're
Oh, God.
That's
incredible.
there's nothing that goes in those slots.
That must have been in those 2 or 3 spare chapters that were there on the menu for. Amy gets the power to morph into a small ball and roll around.
No, we'll do it the same. We'll make sure that we exit. We'll start at the all right. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, it's So there's nowhere, like, it's really hard to mention because we spend almost no time looking at her power wheel. So it'd be the kind of thing that you'd have to say, like, oh yeah, there's also three empty slots on her power wheel for abilities that aren't in the game. Blink and you'll miss it. I love this game so much. I'm like, it has brought me so much joy on the other side of the frustration that I love this game so much. It's so awful. It's like easily the best $3 I've ever spent.
Jeez, wow. $3 whole dollars?
Three
That's a
whole
lot.
dollars.
Jeez. I got 5 copies of Haven Call of the King for £2.50. And that game was
Oh wait,
finished.
we're not doing a reset.
The only part of that game that wasn't finished is the 100% completion ending, where it's just scrolling text saying, hey, please email us and tell us how we can make the next game better. I'd expected an actual ending, but...
Oh, I just about walked into the electricity. That would have sucked. We would... Yeah, Amy, maybe don't stand in the... Amy's immune to, like, everything because, you know, programming her to walk around hazards would be just too much effort, so she's immune to everything. All right. So we're going to shock him once, and then we're going to count again, because it was 25. Where is he? Oh, there he goes. Oh. 1, 2, 2. Oh, too much. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh, this is actually easier in the,
I wish...
yeah,
I
the
wish there was a bit of
elevator.
speedrunning.
Okay, so that didn't. So even with the efficiency problems that I had there, like, that's still, like, I don't think I lost, 20 seconds of time to inefficiency. Though he did go, it felt like he didn't show up. So 17, so like 17 hits, 308. I think the elevator really is, it's the time he takes to walk there. It's, yeah. And it's less consistent, so... One, two push. And yeah, the elevator, because the elevator actually, like, it reduces the chance that Lana is going to, like, just run past him. So when you said $3, I thought you got it in some random bargain bin at random Walmart. No, it's this. You can buy this right now on PlayStation Network. It was originally, I think, $10 or $15 when it first came out, and it's like $3 now.
How much do you think this copy could go for on eBay?
Like this specific, like, well,
This copy of Speedrun, yeah.
it
I
would
mean,
it would
once you've taken
involve
this to GDQ,
selling
you're done speedrunning Amy, right? You could, you could give that as a prize.
it, like my PlayStation, like just give away my PlayStation hard drive.
No, your copy of Amy, the disc.
It isn't a disc. It's
Oh,
download
it's just a
only.
download?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I
Well,
wish
in that
that.
case,
Oh
you
man.
should give away the copy of Rango that you kept in the disc drive.
If this was, if there was at this point a physical copy of Amy, like if they had done a limited physical release, like limited disc release, but like principally download, I would probably shell out pretty well for one of those disc copies. Like just to have it, like at this point, like just to have it.
Wasn't there? There wasn't a disc version of Amy for the PS3? I can't believe it. I thought this was still in an era where games came out on disc. That's really upsetting. Wow. Oh man.
Oh, come on, charge him. Hey, Lana, charge him. No, face the correct direction.
Oh my god, it's 6 a.m.
Willem took Willem took 8 to 9 seconds longer to hit the defib in the second fight.
Right.
So like he did take longer to get there. Like I wasn't just imagining that he took longer to get there. Okay, so could this charge and attack work on Jared's? Yeah, it does work on Jared's actually. It's Jared's are who I initially like came up with that, like realized that works on. It's just that most of the places where you fight them, it's kind of inconsistent because it's really easy to overshoot and it doesn't gain you that much because really all it does is prevent a counterattack. Now, and the thing is that you can dodge Jared's counterattacks where you can't dodge Willem's. So yeah, it's better with the Jareds to just stay in the like counterattack back and forth rather than screwing up and like overshooting. Whereas with Willem, you need to do it in order to avoid taking hits. So yeah. Okay, let's give it. I want to do. I want to do one. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. And I'm gonna do one where we're gonna do like one shock and then fight, but we're gonna actually put Amy into the room. Because I think it was having Amy out that like I don't know, did something to Willem's pathing. Can you soft lock by getting in the elevator with Amy while Willem is outside of it? Oh, probably. I'm not sure whether I want a hybrid strategy to be faster because like the elevator, like just getting him into the elevator and beating him to death is really funny.
It is. It's really funny when the doors close on the two of you.
And it's like, here's the final boss who's like too deadly to actually face in like straight combat, and it's like, or you can just
Get in the elevator
get
and
in
beat
the
the shit
elevator
out.
with him and stun lock him and like hit him a lot of times. And they're just like, you might be tempted to give up because it's taking so long, but you might start thinking to yourself, oh, okay, this doesn't actually do anything, which is actually what we thought for the longest time, was that he just didn't take appreciable damage from the crowbar. But it all makes even more sense now, like why it just takes so many more hits in normal and hard, is just because he just has more health. Now I'm gonna die. Yeah.
Oh.
Uh,
I think you should at the GDQ you should do the elevator ending just to show it off.
I think I think the elevator, because even if I hadn't kind of like messed up there, that was going to be like parity with the elevator. Like that was coming in around the same time, if I hadn't screwed up at the end there. So it's looking like, just with the added time of like waiting for him to run to you, going through the execute animation and all of that, is that, so doing one shock and then killing him is going to be about the same amount of time as just getting him into the elevator. So the one that might maybe actually be faster would be 2 shocks and then just hit him those last like 3-4 times. Like maybe, I don't know. So I'm gonna test that one right now. It looks like, though, real quick, just real quick, it's
Will you show us your angry face?
it's anger face.
Here.
Oh no.
Oh, she's got like hairs stuck in her quills.
Little urchin.
So snuffly. Oh.
Is Clover gonna? Clover's not gonna show her face. No, she's just gonna be. Oh yeah, she is. She is a rage potato right now.
Oh. Oh.
You can kind of see her face in between puffs.
Oh. Oh, it's so tiny. It's incredible. It's incredible. Animals are magical. Wow.
And
I'm so happy
here's
I stayed up to
Amy.
see that.
And here's Amy coming to follow friend Clover. All right. All right. This will be. I think this will be the. At this point, it might be worth timing without loading times because they can't be consistent. I think loading times are generally. Loading times seem to be pretty consistent. Like if we're starting from the same place, are they not? I mean, it's always over a minute. Loading times vary by like 2 seconds. Okay. I mean, it's still gonna. It'll get us ballpark. I guess the main thing that we're worried about here, the big thing we're worried about is major time differences. So something that's like 10 or more seconds. Differences of like 2 seconds is going to get kind of lost in the mix. So if things are coming in right around the same time, then the real question is, for our purposes at least, are consistency and entertainment. So for example, getting Willem into the elevator and then just doing the elevator beat down is pretty fast. It's kind of the question of like, all right, is it more or less entertaining than doing the level as intended at least a little bit? And that I'm currently weighing, because I actually think I want to do the elevator beatdown, unless this like two shocks is like substantially faster. Then I think I want to do the elevator beatdown, just because one of the things that I was a little bit anxious about with the game, that is like, oh well, is it gonna really fit in like bad game block or whatever, is that there aren't really a ton of segments where you clearly and obviously just like go completely off script and just ignore game mechanics, and just, you know, like there's a few places where it's like, okay, like we walk along the wall, or we use like a damage boost, or we do stuff like that. But for the most part, like a lot of the game really is just and then by accident I step a second too early and get shocked myself.
I love that you can just like just shove the final boss. Like they're all spiky and you can still just go, nah, and they get staggered.
So I should probably still, because normally I heal myself right there, and that's what spaces that out. And I forgot why I did it right there. That the entire reason why I built that heal into the rhythm of this fight in the first place is because that right there is what kept happening. Is I kept stepping into it and dying right there. Yeah. But Archibus says that elevator is still faster. Yeah, I guess that still would have given us a sense of what time we were at.
What made you decide to do Amy?
So where it initially started, so back for Halloween, it was like, oh, well, what are we going to, like, Halloween wound up falling on a Monday night. So it's like, all right, regular Charles T. Sadboy stream night. And we weren't sure what we were going to do, like if we're going to do something thematic. And then Crystal was just like, well, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be doing, you know, LOL, I'm going to be doing social stuff because I have a life. And it's like, okay, so I was going to be alone. And so
Really?
chat.
That's really rude of Crystal, whatever she is.
It's
So
super fucking rude.
So chat was, you know, kept saying, like, I kept getting messages in chat and on Twitter being like, you should do Amy for remember that like 2012 game, that escort mission horror game with the autistic kid. I'm like, I kind of remember it. And then I went and like reminded myself and like looked up the 0 punctuation about it, and I was like, oh right, this piece of crap. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. This will be fun. It's only $3 on PSN. And it wound up being just like unprecedentedly agonizing. Like, it is so awful as a casual play. Like, it really is one of the worst PlayStation 3 games ever made. And I say that as someone who has played a lot of the worst PlayStation 3 games ever made. But so we didn't actually beat it in that night. Like, despite how short it is, like, it's so obtuse and it's so janky that we just wound up getting like stonewalled in chapter 4. And after that, so like on the Saturday after that run, oh, come on, man. Yeah, we're actually still slower than the elevator. We're definitively slower than the elevator on this one. 315. So that is faster than doing another circuit, but it's not faster than the elevator beatdown. But so then the Saturday after, now I had been looking for a while for a game to speedrun because I wanted to, I wanted to get into it. I wanted to do this longer term project, this whole like, hey, let's develop a speedrun. Let's like script it out. Let's try to get it into GDQ. And like, kind of go through the whole process. And then I'm going to have a summary video kind of at the end of this, since we are going to GDQ. Holy crap, like still registering in my brain. So I was looking for something, like I had my eye out for something, and the Saturday after Halloween, I'm like, I gotta finish the game. I gotta finish it, but I had to do it on my own time, just because like, even though we were following the walkthrough, like the walkthrough didn't make any sense. It was awful. A lot of it was written in, like there was an entire chapter written in urban gangsta flavor. And
Nice.
yeah, it was pretty bad. So I beat the game, and it was specifically the moment in chapter 5 where it's like in the walkthrough it said that it's like, okay, you'll get to this point, and like in the sewers, you'll get to this point, you'll use the lock, and then you'll have to deal with another zombie gauntlet. But good thing you just picked up a crowbar. And it was at that moment when I'm like, well, if this is a zombie gauntlet, then I'm just going to like close this gate, and it'll probably like, I don't know, cut some of them off or something. And so I did that. I closed the gate, and nothing happened. Like no zombies spawned as far as I could tell. I didn't see any. And at that moment I was like, okay, here we go. We have a hook for a speed run. That like, even if everything else just kind of is just play the game quickly, that right there is a potential hook. So after I beat the game the first time, I just started over again on easy with just the goal of like, all right, it's a puzzle game. Ico is only like 2.5, 3 hours long if you know the solution to all the puzzles. So like all puzzle games, like all of these puzzle style games, it should be dramatically faster just by virtue of knowing the solutions. And so I did a quick run by myself after that on easy, just literally just like playing it as intended, but going straight to the solutions and knowing that you can just like beat the crap out of most of the zombies, avoiding the insta-kill things, whatever. And it took about an hour, 45 minutes. And I was like, all right, so this is viable. You could, if my sloppy second try is only an hour 45, and GDQ lets in, multiple games that are like 2-3 hours long, then like we could easily get this down hour and a half, no problem. And that's viable. They would let that in. Like if it was a good enough presentation, if you made a compelling hour and a half worth of commentary, they'd let that in. They'd bring that in. And so that was the start of it. And then we wound up shaving off another hour.
Wow. Yeah, I think you did a really good job with it. I can't wait. I will be tuning in to watch. Although right now I think I need to tune out. It's 6:11 in the morning.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's after 11 here. This was fun. This was a fun evening in particular because hey, we shaved even more time off the end, and honestly, like I think the elevator beatdown is an even better like I've been scripting the chapter 6 to build up to the anticlimax of it, but it's even better if the build up to the anticlimax is itself an anticlimax. You know, the abruptness of it is always there, but it's even better if it's just like, no, we're just going to back him into the elevator and beat him to death.
Nice.
So, yeah, I don't know. This was fun. Hey, thanks for dropping in.
No problem.
And thanks, Crystal, for having a special drop in. You're not normally here on Speedrun Learning Curve either. So thank you, Crystal, for coming out.
Yep. This is me. Hi.
Hi.
And thanks to everyone in chat for coming and hanging out and watching this and giving your feedback and your encouragement. And I'm excited. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be cool. This is gonna be rad. We'll see you all Friday maybe for Dad of War. So yeah, look forward to that. And we'll catch you all later. Bye.